Summer League starts today. Yes, you heard that correctly, later this afternoon. And I want to talk about 10 players that we have to watch when NBA Summer League gets underway. Not Salt Lake City, not the California Classic. Nah, real Las Vegas Summer League where all 30 teams have a team there. We're going to have 10 players that we need to keep our eye on for. But I want to hear the player that you are most interested to watch. Before I give you my list, let me know what player you're most intrigued to watch in Summer League that kicks off tonight. Number one, and probably the most common answer from you in the comment section, Bronny James, the 55th overall pick by the Los Angeles Lakers in the second round, son of LeBron James. This was obvious, right? Like, he was clearly going to be on there because everyone wants to know, is he an NBA caliber player or not? I am under the belief that he should have returned back to college. He was not ready for the NBA. I know Rich Paul could go on his spiel all he wants, but the realistic situation is this. If his name was Nic Rohloff and not Bronny James Jr., he would have not been drafted and he would have had to go back to college. Yes, he was a top recruit and he was in the McDonald's All-Star game, but he did not play good in his freshman season and should have got another year of experience at the collegiate level. And he's played in 2 Summer League games, air quotes, in the California Classic, and it hasn't been good for Bronny. The first game against Sacramento, he played 21 games, scored 4 points, 2 assists, 2 of 9 from the field, and 0 of 3 from 3. And then just last night, or a couple days ago, on Wednesday, against the Miami Heat, he played in 29 minutes, 3 points, 3 assists, 1 of 3 from the field, and 0 of 1 from 3. It's been a little bit of a struggle for Bronny James. There's no denying that. And I will say this with Bronny, sure, it's been bad offensively. I don't think anyone disputes that he is a capable defender. He is really good in terms of his instincts on the defensive side of the floor, his positioning off ball, as well as his ability to move his feet, because he is an athlete. The one issue, though, is that he's kind of undersized as well. He's only like 6 feet tall, barely 6'1", maybe. Like, he isn't the craziest lengthy guy either. He's good instincts defensively, but his offensive game has a long way to go, and I don't think he's ready for the NBA, but we'll see if he's able to perform during Summer League. Moving on here, I'm going to go to a second-year guy, Jordan Hawkins, the guard from the New Orleans Pelicans. He was the 14th overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, so the last pick of the lottery. He got comps to Ray Allen. Yes, you heard that correctly. And Hawkins, someone who got off to a pretty good start for New Orleans in 2023. Shot about 38% from 3, I believe, in the first month or 2 of the season when he had a role due to a bunch of injuries for New Orleans, but got phased out of that rotation and phased out of that lineup as the season progressed, as New Orleans got closer and closer to the postseason. I'm intrigued to see what Hawkins can bring to the table. We know he can play the off-ball shooter role. Can he give you more of an on-ball presence in a isolation scorer that can break down a defender? That's what I got my eyes on for, and if he does improve, he'll carve out a rotation spot, because right now, that Pelicans roster, man, it's loaded with talent. Alex Sarr, the forward/center who was drafted 2nd overall by the Washington Wizards. I had him as my number 1 prospect in the NBA draft. I thought he should have went number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks. Sarr didn't want to go there, allegedly. Never worked out for Atlanta. Ultimately slid to the number 2 spot. Let's see how he performs. Someone who is not that experienced, did not even have that much of a good season production-wise for the Perth Wildcats. That's where he played last year. Can he produce against NBA talent and NBA draft picks, as he did not do that overseas? That is something I have my eyes out for. And it's always good to see the 2nd overall pick and how he compares to the 1st overall pick. Make sure you are subscribed, because if anything happens in the NBA, we're going to have you covered. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, whether it be myself, Tom Downey, Patrick Seatman. We'll get you the video and news, rumors you need to have. And make sure those notifications are turned on as well so you never miss a beat. We got to talk about Zach Edey, right? The center from Memphis who was drafted 9th overall. I did not think he was a first-round talent. Maybe I was wrong on that, because his first game in, I think it was Salt Lake, but he did play a Summer League game to this point already. Well, he was terrific. Had 14, 15 points, 12 rebounds, was great at setting screens and a deterrent at the rim. Did have a bad moment where he missed a dunk that could have won them the game. They ultimately won in overtime, or they lost in overtime, but they got to overtime thanks to a tip-in from Zach Edey. I think he is someone that's intriguing. I don't know if he could be a starting center right away. Maybe he can develop into it, but is someone I'm going to have to keep my eye out for. How does he play against other NBA talent? Gradey Dick rounds out the top 5, the second-year man from Kansas who played for Toronto last year. Similar to Hawkins, where he needs to prove that he can be more than just an off-ball three-point shooter. Toronto is kind of going with the youth movement. They have Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, Gradey Dick. Gary Trent Jr. is not re-signed. I think they have plans to start Gradey Dick at the 2 in between R.J. Barrett and IQ. Can Dick be someone that plays not just off-ball? It's a big question. He's a good shooter, got good size to him, needs to improve his defense as well. He's a year 2 guy that will be playing in Summer League for Toronto that I am going to be watching pretty heavily. How did he improve since last March? Make sure you do check out our MLB draft coverage on Sunday afternoon. Jake Chipper and Jack Lotteray will be live for the entire first round. 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern Time is when they're starting their coverage. Tune in, see where the top players from high school, college are going to be selected, and it'll be a lot of fun, man. You see Jack Caglione, he's a stud up there. Shout out to my guy Vance Honeycutt from North Carolina. I want to see where he goes, but check out our MLB draft coverage this Sunday afternoon. Rob Dillingham is someone I got my eyes up for, and especially since Minnesota offered a 2031 first-round pick to acquire Rob Dillingham. They were picking at 27, and then obviously eyed Dillingham, the guard from Kentucky, because they moved all the way up to 8 to get him with San Antonio. They didn't even trade their other pick. They kept 27, and they added 2 guys. Terrence Shannon Jr. is someone I'm fascinated to watch as well. But Dillingham, undersized guard, but he's flashy. He's a 3-level scorer, shot 40+% from 3 at Kentucky, averaged 15 a game. My only question with Dillingham is how is he going to handle NBA talent and NBA physicality, because he is very thin in frame, only 162 pounds, 6'1", 6'3" wingspan. I'll be intrigued to see how he handles it, but Dillingham's a fun watch, that's for sure. Had to mention the number 1 overall pick, right? Zaccharie Risacher, the forward from the Atlanta Hawks, who was drafted first overall. I thought this was a mistake from Atlanta. I had Risacher as my 4th player on my big board, but I thought there was a pretty, I wouldn't say significant, but a clear drop-off between him and Alex Sarr. And considering that Atlanta's biggest need was at the time, this was before they traded DeJounte Murray, a center to help build around whatever backcourt member they kept, I think it would have made a lot of sense to add Alex Sarr, who can be a really good defensive guy, fit next to Josh, I'm spacing on his name, god damn it, Johnson, the big man, I'm absolutely spacing, the forward who has been really good and flashed a lot of, Jalen Johnson, my goodness, it took so long for me to get there, but we ended up reaching there. I think he could have fit really nice with him. That is Alex Sarr. But instead, they went Risacher. I'm intrigued to see what he could bring to the table, but I'm not really high on his on-ball ability offensively. What do you think, though? Number 1 pick versus number 2 pick. Who has the better NBA career? AS for Alex Sarr, ZR for Zaccharie Risacher. Let me know your thoughts down below. Third guy, and another guy from Atlanta. How about this? Kobe Bufkin, the guard from the Atlanta Hawks. Bufkin was a lottery pick from the University of Michigan a year ago. Did not get any run for the Hawks last season, but will likely get some run now due to the fact that they got rid of DeJounte Murray. So there's a need for backup guard play and potentially a guard to play alongside Trae Young. Bufkin has excellent length, got good size, and coming out of the draft, I didn't have him as a lottery guy, but I liked his defensive versatility, and I liked his ability to rise up in the mid-range because of his long arms length and wingspan. I think Bufkin is someone that if he's able to prove that he could be a lead guard, defender, scoring at all 3 levels, maybe he starts to really carve out a role for himself in the ATL. I got to mention DJ Burns. This is someone who probably isn't going to make the NBA, but he made America fall in love with him during March Madness when he helped NC State all the way to the Final Four. He's a big fella. Round, mound, and rebound plus in Cleveland. I'm fascinated to see how he performs against NBA speed, NBA talent. But can that big body continue to take the hearts of America. We'll keep our eye on that. Last player we're going to talk about today, Anthony Black. Now, this is someone I'm very high on. In 2023, I had him as my, I believe, I can't remember my exact big board. I think I had him 4th, which was way above consensus at the time. I was a big fan of it. Yeah, it was 4th. I had Victor 1, obviously. I had Brandon Miller 2. I had Scoot 3, and then I had Anthony Black 4. Big fan of Black. He is very lengthy, good size, 6'6", 6'7", great defender. Just needs to work on his offensive ability because he can't shoot the basketball, and he struggled with his finishing around the rim for Orlando last season. But the Magic, who are in desperate need of guard help in terms of scoring to help Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, if Anthony Black's able to develop an offensive game at all 3 levels, he gives you good playmaking and elite defense as well. With his size, this could be a really, really big time for Anthony Black to grow his game. 10 players that I have my eye out for during NBA Summer League. If you want to let me know on Twitter who you have your eye out for, my handle is @Nic_Rohloff. Go give me a follow because I'm going to be likely tweeting about it as well during the next couple weeks. So give me a follow @Nic_Rohloff. I'll see you later next week with a video. Peace out.